We remember. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. You know what day is today? Today is the 9th of May, and it's a very big day. I don't know, do you understand what date is today? On the 9th May of 1945 ended the World War II, which was a big tragedy for the whole world because of one man, one stupid idea, and you know, it's very hard to get all your thoughts in like one video, but I'm gonna try to do it because for me now it's a bit complicated to talk on camera. Today's day is very special because we still have living proof as veterans, as people that are our grandparents, our relatives that were children during the World War II. Such are my grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather. You know, they used to tell me a lot of stories of the World War II because my grandfather was born in 1934, and when World War II ended he was 11 years old. Can you remember what were you doing when you were 11? Maybe playing some games, maybe some PlayStation, but my grandfather used to help his mother, my grandmother, to survive because they were a family of 4 by that time. So there was my grandmother, my grandfather, his sister, and his brother. And unfortunately, his brother died during the Second World War because he was ill with some sort of disease. So he was the oldest in his family, and his father was serving, and he died during the Second World War, so he didn't have a father during his whole life, which made him a very strong man, a very powerful man, a very organized man, because he was the oldest in his family, and he's a good example of a man that is saw a lot of stuff. He's seeing the same thing right now, because if you are interested in politics, Ukraine now is involved in a war with Russia that Russia doesn't claims that they're not involved in nothing that happens in Crimea and Luhansk and Donetsk, and it's very strange because you're living like 87 years in the world and you saw one war. We lived in Israel, it was a war there, and now you moved to Ukraine and it's the absolute same thing but here. Right in the eastern of Europe, but not about that. And my grandmother, Jane, she told me stories where she and her sister and her mother, because her father was serving to the army too. I know a story about my great-grandfather. He used to be a bomber, and he planted some bombs. I don't know where, because she doesn't know the whole story, unfortunately. I would love to know the whole story. And he placed bombs under some bridge. I think it was somewhere in Romania, maybe. And he used to blow up this bridge, and something happened, and he used to like blow up with the whole bridge. And he's like, with his death and with this bomb, he stopped like the movement of the tanks and all of that, so they couldn't cross some river, sort of. And I decided to make this video because yesterday was the 8th of May, and my grandmother was crying in the corner of her room, and I was like, what happened? And she told me that she misses her dad. You know, she might not remember him because she was born in 1937, so she was a very small girl by that time, but she remembers some it's like flashbacks when something happens. It's like the military man, which remembers some bombings and stuff like that. And she remembers when her mother and her sister with her, they were going in some truck, in the back of the truck. And she remembers when she saw the Luftwaffe, their airplanes. They were like, this is like the car, this is the truck, and airplanes were like making this move. I don't know how it's called in English. In Russian it's called piquet. And you do like this, and they were shooting at that time in the truck, but they survived. And this is an amazing story because, you know, it's very hard like to understand it, like for me, because I haven't seen like real combat, real stuff. But when they talk about it, I don't understand the youngsters that are like going to the Nazi movement and all of that shit. That makes me feel like very bad, because youngsters that go like to the skinhead movement or the Nazi movement, I judge them. I really judge them, because they don't understand that 7 million Soviet soldiers died during this war. I just can't imagine, you know, like 7 million plus people died. This is a very big tragedy, and I just wanted to make this video to feel like, you know, like relief inside me, because if you have relatives that can tell you the stories, or they were witnesses of like the Second World War, just give them the time to tell you the whole story, because it's so important, because they've been through this stuff, you know, like they've been inside it. And it's very important to remember what happened during that time, during the killing of innocent Jewish people, innocent army men that tried like to help. And it's a hard video to make, you know, because I feel the pain inside my grandparents that really miss their fathers, and they remember like only few maybe good and bad moments with them. And you know, I'm having my son Leon, which is shouting all day long trying to play, and when I hear stories from them about their parents, I just think to myself that I want to be with him as long as I can, because it's very important for me that he could remember good moments with me when I'll be gone. And I want to teach him a lot of things, and they didn't get the chance of doing that. And it was like 80 years ago. Can you imagine?